And that leads me to my next question, which is honesty in art, which I feel like is a huge part of who you are. Not just in your songwriting, but your vocals. You have this way of just knowing the the best way to make a listener believe what you're singing. And I feel like that's
Wow.
really important in delivering a lyric. I'm curious if there's a strategy from you as an artist and as a songwriter in portraying that honesty and really making sure that believability is put out there to your listener.
To be honest, coming up as a trained singer and as a trained singer at Baylor, sometimes and for a long time, I feel like I performed to perform. And the first time that I was in a vocal booth that I got some really good direction, I was big pregnant with Evan. So this was 12 years ago. Um, I was cutting a song with Josh called Skin and Bone. And it's very, very personal song. It's a very vulnerable song. And I was kind of performing it, right? And Trent Willman was producing it. And he like stopped me and pulled me out. And he was like, I know this is hard with all these people in the studio, but like, what if I got them all out of here and you just said these words to Josh? And he had me actually speak them like into the microphone. And he was like, now put the music behind those words. And from that moment on, I completely changed the way that I recorded my vocals, because you can never go back after discovering that. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So yeah, I'm super grateful for that moment because it changed the way I sing. And luckily that happened before I recorded my own records. And so every day that I record, I think of that. I think of that moment where he's like, you're performing, you're kind of like, the words are not coming through. And he was like, let's just speak through this. And it felt awkward and cringy. But the more I did it, the more I got what he was trying to say. So I do that every time I record. I try to just speak through it. Like, how would I tell these lyrics to a friend and then sing it? So thank you for
That's
saying
yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's incredible stuff. Kind of the nuts and bolts, right, of
Mhm.
the delivery. Man, it hurts me so much that people take for granted vocals as an instrument, right? So like
Agreed.
I always try to make when I find and have or I have a really phenomenal singer on the show like yourself. Recently, we had Andy K. Joyner on the show. I have her in the same level as yourself, as
Oh,
just a very timeless singer, an incredible harmony singer. Both of y'all, probably the two best harmony singers in Texas. I'll just throw that out
cool.
there. I
Thank
think. And I love the fact that you have your solo stuff too, right? So when I said
you.
earlier in this podcast how excited I was to see your name on a record this year, even I was upset it was just an EP. I'll keep it real.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, I have it right here in my notes. The only thing wrong with All Right is it's too short in big
I
letters.
love it. I'll take that critique all day.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
so so we need more. First of all,
Okay. All
but
right. To be honest, Josh really got excited about doing that whole EP kind of like with this particular band. And we did it at the finishing school in Austin. And I would not change anything. Like every single person that played on that record made it what it is. Like it's so vibey and cool because of
mhm.
each individual that was on there. But I also realized at the end of the day, we could sit down, just Josh and me, and acoustically record a duet. Like we've been singing this one song live for years and years, and everyone's like, "When are you going to put this out?" And we're like, "Okay, let's crunch numbers and let's think about when we would hire a band and how much that would be and where we would cut it." And I was like, "What if we just like did it raw and dirty and just cut it in the office because he has a studio and it's
Yeah.
wonderful and just sang it in there and you produced it." So I
And
think
that's
we're
how
going to
people are getting
start.
it anyway, right? That's how they're getting
Totally.
it live, so why not give it to them? It's the same
Totally.
vibe.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
in fact, I think people really dislike it when they've heard a song
When
live a
it's
million
produced
times.
up.
and then they hear it like
Yep.
recorded and they're like, whoa, this is a totally
Boy,
different song. Like, this is
too
not
much
what I'm.
polish, man. Too much
Yeah.
polish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think we're going to be recording a lot more. And maybe we'll do kind of what a lot of the artists do nowadays,
Waterfalling.
which is single,
Yep.
single, single. And what that does, from what I understand, is it generates traffic to your
It refreshes the
online.
algorithm, is what it
It
does.
does. It
Right.
does. And I hate the game, but I also like I
Don't
don't
you
want to
hate it
not.
when you hate the game, but you understand why the game is the way it is?
Totally,
Yeah,
totally. Like
that
I get
sucks.
it. And really it just means more repetitions. Like
Hmm.
let's get some more songs out there and let's do more. And so that's actually, yeah, that's on the
But
agenda.
it's
That's our
hard. It's
next.
hard to do that. Like it's called waterfalling. What you're talking about, the single after single after single. And what
Oh.
I worry about is that waterfalling is going to mean more watered down. That's what I'm
Mm.
worried about.
Oh,
Um,
that's a great thought. That's
yeah,
so
because
true.
we're getting single after single after single,
Huh.
and like when you and I were kids, right? A record had three singles, maybe four, right?
Right.
And then
Right.
you and I were just in love with the obscure song, the album track, right? And because you never heard it on the radio, you knew you had to get the actual full record to hear it.
Yeah.
And now you don't have that anymore. Now it's just single after single after single, and everybody has a single, and everybody's releasing a single next week, and
Yeah.
or whatever it is. It's that DIY of it too. Like the word single used to mean something to people, right?
Yeah,
Now
you're right.
it used to be very important, and now it's just another word. Like what
Yeah.
we need to have something that's important again, like the word single, and we don't have it
You know,
anymore.
man,
Yeah.
that is so true. I never even thought about that. And I love what you said about it watering down, the impact of the
Mm-hmm.
music.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Because it's like you said
that's true.
earlier when you were talking to your students about, having to go to YouTube to learn something.
Hmm.
None of the kids that are younger than us ever had to go to a record store and actually sing out a song so we could figure out who the artist was, right? We would hear a
Right.
song on the radio, we wouldn't know who it was because we didn't want to wait the 45 minutes until the next commercial break where they would tell who the artists were for the last 45 minutes. So we would
Yeah.
have to go to a record store and say, yeah, it went like this, da 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 da, or whatever, and it had this
Yeah.
lyric in there. Now we just go to Google and type in four lyrics and we have it.
Oh, yeah.
But back
We
in the
sure
day, we
can.
had to go to a record store to figure out who it was, or call the radio station, which I've done a million times as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
things are
crazy.
changing. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. I get it.
Yeah.
Talking about being harmony, being a background singer, being a peripheral piece, but also now being, obviously you have your solo work as well. What is the challenges between those, right? Because I imagine there are some habits that you have as a background piece or a peripheral piece where you're trying to make somebody else better that you kind of have to leave there, right? When you're now the focal point, the brand name, whatever. Some of those habits have to go away. Can you kind of describe that?
Yeah, I mean, I really, really like to try to blend um, down to the microtone with somebody. And so when I sing along with Josh, it's different than when I sing with like Walt and Tina. It's different than when I sing with like Courtney or um, Kelly McWee. Everybody sings on a different part of the pitch, and some people are real central on it, and some people tend to be a little bit um, sing on the higher end of the pitch or a teeny bit sharp, and some on the lower end of the pitch. And it works for their voice, and it works for the way that they create their vowels, and it works for their vibe. And I love, like, my favorite thing is like finding exactly where on the pitch they sing everything and really matching with them. And when there's nobody there to do that, I'm like, oh crap. Like I'm the only one and this is just got to be me. I do have moments of like identity crisis when I
Yeah.
sing, like how do I sing this song? And I think that just comes with repetitions. It comes like naturally. But when you record a song that you haven't gigged very often, which happened a lot on my first EP, um, I feel like I was vocally just like trying out different things. And it's not great for that homogenous sound that people do
Yeah.
like their artists to have. So yeah, I would say that's the biggest challenge. It has been just like finding who I am as the solo artist, as the main voice in a song versus just, finding exactly where
And
Josh
you
sings
and
from.
you actually like the challenge of harmony more than you do kind of being out there. I love that. Let me ask you this, because man, you're just feeding me so much with the questions. Um, Listening to your EP, I can't tell you exactly what song it was, but it's more than one of them. I'm almost positive you're singing harmony for yourself, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm all I can afford.
yeah. So what's is that a different challenge in and of itself? Because I imagine you know where your solo voice sits, right? Or are you making it sit somewhere different to fit in the harmony?
I don't think about it when I'm singing it, but when I am doing the
Interesting.
harmony, like when I'm singing the lead, I'm not like, where do I sit on the
So you're
pitch?
waiting for the result and then you decide where the
Yeah,
harmony fits in. That's incredible.
totally, absolutely. And a lot of times I will have these weird ideas for harmonies, and Josh is like, okay, and then once he hears all three of them together, he's like, oh my God,
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when I first start doing them, he's like, ooh, that, like, is that a bad pitch? And I'm like, no, wait, it's going to make sense when all of them are together. And, it'll be just a nice kind of um, contrasting note for
I
a minute.
love this so much, man. This is so
Yeah.
cool. It's such a cool way of putting things and how you see it, right? It's just really neat.
Absolutely.
Let
Yeah.
me ask you this. Just I got kind of a couple more before we get into some fun segments. I think you have fun
Okay.
with. I wanted to talk to you about teaching music because I feel like this is going to be multifaceted too, right? You're educated yourself, right? So
Yeah.
you've been taught music from Baylor, and then you have this world of experience since then, right? 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. Now
Totally.
you're teaching students below you. The question is, how much are you teaching them from your own education? And how much are
Oh,
you teaching them from what you've learned since then?
that is a great question. So I love answering this because I haven't talked a lot about this, but at Baylor, at least, back in the fall of 98, which is when I went, and that
Okay.
kind of tells you how old I am. Um, it was a
See, I
very,
left you an out there. I left you an out there. I said, whatever it is, 10 years, 20 years. See,
you
so
know,
don't get on me. I didn't ask her age.
I kind of don't mind. I don't know. I'm getting to this age where I'm kind of like, don't care
Yeah,
anymore
I understand.
what people think about my age.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like this is the one genre of music or the one place you can live and be a musician, and people don't really care. In fact, the older you are,
The
they're
better.
like,
Yeah.
kick out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I at Baylor, it was very, very classical and very legit singing. And so if you were not doing classical or opera or art songs or song cycles,
Whole bunch of
it was kind
structure,
of,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
tons of structure, tons of rules. At least in the School of Music where I was, it was kind of looked down upon. Even when we would do these all university sings, all the sororities and fraternities would do these, like, 6 or 7 minute mini musicals. And I remember I was asked to sing River Deep Mountain High by Tina Turner. And I just sang it like she sang it. Like, that's kind of how I just kind of modeled my voice after her. And in the School of Music, I was just another soprano in a sea of sopranos. But all of a sudden, after all universities sing, I was like walking through campus and people were like, Tina, Tina, and calling me Tina Turner. And I
Yep.
thought that was so cool. And I realized it is not poo poo to sing pop music. It is not poo poo to sing musicals or country or anything other than what the School of Music was saying was the only thing I should be caring about. But for some reason, in the School of Music, it was highly frowned upon to sing anything that was not classical and legit. So now I have all of these voice students, and of course, they're wanting to learn songs by Miranda Lambert
Mm-hmm.
and K-pop songs and all these different things. And so I believe that there are general great rules of thumb that everyone should follow to have a natural, healthy way of singing. But then, yes, I believe it is 100% okay to make it sound poppy or to make it sound there used to be all kinds of no-nos that you were not allowed to dip up to a note, like ooh,
Hmm.
anything like that. And now it's all over. It's in every pop song, and it's what is popular. And so I think it's funny that I was taught like that's a no-no and this is a no-no, and glottal attacks are a no-no. And that's the when you go when you sing, you that's a glottal attack. And there's like whole Taylor Swift songs with like
Yep.
tons of glottal attacks. So I think it's just funny that
Isn't
there
it
were
funny
so
how
many.
that musical rebellion out there is so successful and so
I mean,
yeah. Let me.
it is.
You know what? You talk about all this structure, and earlier we talked about a lack of structure in the song we showed earlier, "Push It
Mhm.
Back," and how that really resonated with, by the way, a freaking phenomenal songwriter in Susan Gibson,
Ah,
who, by the way, also is well known for not following a structure in song.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
she's
you get
awesome.
that validation with that song, and then you said in the middle of the middle of the interview that Josh was a little bit further than you with his maturation process musically and
Right.
artistically. How much is that education feeding your imposter syndrome? Where you know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to, like the word supposed to is probably a lot on your mind until
Oh
Susan
yeah,
Gibson comes along and says, no, you don't have to. Like this is cool either way,
totally.
right?
Yeah, in a way, I hate that
I
I
guess the
do.
question is, did it hold you back? Did it hold you back?
I mean, yes. I honestly, to be honest, yes, it held me back. I hate that it's true that I did need these little green lights from. I've had them from Walt. I've had them from Walt and Tina. I've had them from Susan. These little like, oh hell yeah, that's
And I
cool.
know
What are
how
you doing there?
encouraging Trent Willman is too, so I'm sure he was in there somewhere too. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
100%. Like
yeah.
I said, he totally affected the way I think about recording now. Um, and even like Brie Bagwell, I've been like jumping up and singing harmonies with her so much, and she has just the kindest things to say about my music, and I'm like, I just see her as so prolific and so
No bigger
classically
encourager of the
country.
yeah.
Yes, but a huge encourager. And so yes, while I wish I didn't need it, yes, I needed those green lights, and I'm so grateful for every single one that I've gotten.
And every single one of those green lights, and no matter how many of them you get, you're still gonna try to talk yourself out of them.
Yeah,
And
sometimes.
yeah, and that
Sometimes.
sucks
Yeah,
so bad, man. I hate
I
that. Right?
know.
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy. It's like there are certain things that my sister is an artist, and she's really great, and she years and years and years ago, before anyone was kind of doing the hoop, like how in like kind of mountain music and in real country music, people would kind of do almost these cowboy calls, like
Yep.
how cowboys used to
Sierra Farrell's
hoop.
big on them right now. Yeah, she uses that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she was doing that 6, 8, 10 years ago in her songs, but because she was like, that's just how they sound, and
Yeah, and
that's
she
just
didn't
like,
stop either. And
and
people were
she
yeah.
never stopped. But she's the type that has never once asked permission for
And
anything,
that's why
and
she's amazing. Yeah.
she is. That's why she's
Yeah.
amazing. You're exactly right.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so, the first time I kind of heard that in mainstream music, I was like, my sister's been doing that for 10 years.
Yeah.
So that's just funny.